got a seat right there. All right, Ms. Acorn.
Could you please state your name for the record?
John Hamilton,
And how are you employed?
West Virginia State Police.
And just for the jury's benefit, today you are testifying in your capacity as a civilian citizen, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you familiar with Mike and Natalie Cochran?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recall how you met them?
Through football.
What sort of a relationship did you have with them?
We were friends with them.
Were you relatively close friends?
At the time, I thought we were.
Just very briefly, did you and your wife invest in either of the Cochran's companies, TMS or TSG?
My wife did.
Okay. Do you recall what the outcome of that was?
As far as gaining money, losing money, is that what you're talking about, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
We lost money in it, ma'am.
Okay. Does the date of February 6th, 2019 stand out to you for any reason?
Yes, ma'am.
And why does that stand out in your mind?
It's the day that I was summoned to their house by Natalie. She told me that Mike was sick and that he had a seizure, and if I could come help her get him on the couch.
And did you go to their house at that point?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recall about what time during the day it was that she informed you that Michael was sick?
It was in the early morning hours, ma'am, maybe 10, 11, something like that.
And about how long did it take you from the time that you found out Michael was ill to get to their house?
Roughly 20 minutes.
What happened once you arrived at the house?
Once I arrived at the house, ma'am, Jonathan and Jason already had Mike up on the couch. They were still there. Natalie was there. I asked her how she wanted to get Mike to the hospital, if she wanted us to drive him, if she wanted to call an ambulance, or how she wanted to get him there. And she told me that she would let him sleep it off because he'd had a seizure.
And just to back up a little bit before we go on, who are Jonathan and Jason?
Those were her contractors who worked for her full time.
Did you take any action with regard to Michael at that point?
No, ma'am. That's whenever I called my wife. I asked her, I said, hey, I said, Natalie doesn't want to take Mike to the hospital. I said, see if you can come down here and get her to take him to the hospital.
And what's your wife's name, sir?
Stephanie Hamilton.
Were you still at the Cochran residence when your wife arrived?
Yes.
Did you observe her take any action with regard to Michael?
Yes, she, I'm not exactly what all she did do, but she also told Natalie that he probably needed to be seen, this and that, and we could get him to the hospital. She even mentioned Chris Davis's plane. We could fly him down there. And she just, once again, just told us that he'd had a seizure and she was going to let him sleep it off.
And you heard all of that with your own ears?
Yes.
Okay. And I think you already kind of touched on this a little bit. What did Natalie tell you happened that caused Michael to end up in the state he was in?
She said that he was in the kitchen and had had a seizure.
Have you ever seen him have an episode like the one that she described?
No, ma'am.
About how long did you stay at the Cochran residence that day?
It was for a couple hours at least, ma'am.
And before you left the residence, who was still there? At the time that you went to leave, who was at the Cochran residence?
I think it may have just been me and her.
Okay. And what led you to make the decision to leave at that point, since Michael had not yet been transported to the hospital?
She just said that she was just going to let him sleep it off, and he was just still laying on the couch, ma'am.
Okay. Did you ever see Michael alive again after that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
All right, cross-examination, Mr. Victor.
Just briefly, officer, what is your rank?
I'm a corporal.
Corporal. You are not in uniform today because you're testifying as a civilian, in a civilian capacity?
Yes.
You're still on active duty, right?
I'm sorry,
You're still
sir.
active as a police
Oh,
officer.
yes, sir. I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, let me ask you this. You said on direct that you've never seen Michael in a condition like this, right?
Never. I mean, just not in a seizure, sir.
Not on a seizure.
Yes.
But you saw Michael in a hospital on prior occasion.
Yes, sir. I
you?
did.
And that would have been in November of the previous year, so that would be 2018, right?
Yes, sir. It was November, sir.
What was he in the hospital for?
As far as I know, sir, he was sick, and they never knew what exactly was wrong with him.
Okay. And why were you in the hospital, sir?
Why was I there?
Yeah.
We went down to check on Mike, and actually me and Chris Davis and Jason actually spent the night with him because they said that he was flailing around and this and that, and they were going to have to restrain him. So we said
Right.
we'd stay there so they wouldn't have to.
Okay. So, were you an intimate friend with the Cochrans, or were you just friends through the Davises? How
Well,
was it?
we were friends through football, sir.
Okay. Football. Well, what football? Give me some.
Like miniature football. you
Oh,
know, like
miniature
yeah,
football.
midget league football, sir.
Oh, I see.
That's
Okay.
how we become friends with them,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So, in November of that year, of 2018, Michael went to the hospital twice, right? That would be
Yes.
October 31st, he went to the hospital, right?
Mhm.
You knew about it, right?
Yes.
What was wrong with him?
I'm not sure, sir.
Nobody knew, right?
hmm
Did he have a seizure? What did they say, to the best of your recollection?
What did they say?
What did they say in the hospital?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for hearsay.
All right.
Sustained.
Well, how did he behave? What symptoms did he have when you saw him?
Whenever I saw him, sir, he was asleep.
Okay, and I'm talking about October of 2018.
I don't know if I saw him that day or not,
Okay,
sir.
you saw him, however, in November of 2018 in a hospital.
Yes, sir.
Which hospital would that be?
I think CAMC, sir, or General,
Would
one of the
that-
two in Canal City.
In Charleston.
Yes, sir.
And what was his condition? What did he look like? How was he acting?
He was asleep whenever I got there, sir. He'd been sedated, I believe.
Okay.
And the next day, whenever he got up, he was talking and this and that.
He slept all day?
No, the next day, whenever he woke up, sir.
Okay, so he woke up the next day?
Yes, sir.
So he slept just like he slept here in the home of February, in February of 2019, right?
But this night, he'd been sedated, sir.
Okay. Well, you don't, well, that's what they told you, right?
Yes.
Okay. And when he woke up, he was agitated
Yes, sir. Down at the hospital, he was.
and he had to be held down, right? By you and Chris and somebody
That's why we
else.
went there, sir, so they wouldn't have to restrain him, sir. Yes, sir.
And of course, at that time, didn't he tell you that he would never go again to a hospital?
Yes, sir, he did.
It was a waste of time.
Yes.
Right? Did you know what kind of medication he was taking at that time?
No, sir, I don't.
And when he said that he was not going to go back to the hospital, he said to tell everybody that he was not going to be caught in a hospital again, right?
I don't remember the exact words, sir.
All right. It was not only a waste of time, but also a waste of his money, because that
Yes.
was expensive, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you went to the Cochran's residence in February of 2019, Michael was already asleep, you said?
He was on the couch, yes, sir.
On the couch. You don't really know what caused his condition, do you?
No, sir.
You don't know whether he was injected with something, or whether he hit his head against the counter, or whether he just collapsed, right? Or whether he just collapsed.
She told me, sir, that he had fallen in the kitchen.
Okay.
And he had a seizure.
Okay. You didn't see his medical records from October or November of 2018, did you?
I never saw his medical records, sir.
So you wouldn't know whether his condition in 2018 was the same as in 2019.
No, sir.
Okay. Now, did you know about all the steroids that he was taking?
No, sir.
Or any substances that he was taking?
No, sir.
Was he a bodybuilder?
Yes, sir. He stayed very fit.
What did he do to stay fit? I mean, was he trying to participate in some bodybuilding competitions? What was he doing?
As far as I know, sir, lifting weights.
Lifting weights. Was he talking about participating in any kind of I don't know, Mr. Universe competitions or anything of that kind?
Never told me that, sir.
Never told. Now, when your wife arrived at the Cochran's residence, she took all kinds of vitals of Mr. Cochran, didn't she?
I can't remember exactly what all she did do, sir.
Oh, okay, but you don't know the results or anything.
No, sir.
Okay. And your wife, I understand, is a paramedic, right?
She's
Or
a physician assistant, sir.
a physician assistant.
Yes, sir.
So she knows something about medicine.
Yes, sir.
Did she believe that Mr. Cochran had to go to the hospital?
Yes, sir. She also told Natalie to take Mike to the hospital.
Okay. Did Natalie mention anything to you about Mr. Cochran not wanting to go to the hospital?
Yes, sir. She did.
And you heard that before from himself?
Yes, sir.
You testified on direct that you lost in the business ran by Michael and Natalie. How much did you invest with them?
Sir, that was my wife. I had nothing to do with that.
Okay, so you personally didn't lose any money?
No, sir. That was my wife. She was the one that dealt with Natalie on that part.
Right, but well, would you agree with me that the marriage lost the
Yes,
money?
sir.
Yeah. You don't know how much, do you?
I couldn't give you an exact figure, no, sir.
Okay, all right. Did you know Michael before the day he went to the hospital, or he had that seizure, or whatever happened to him in February?
Did I know him, sir?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Did you see him the week before, or a week before, or 2 weeks before February?
I'm sure I probably did, sir, maybe.
Did he appear sick to you?
I do not remember, sir.
Okay. How about November or October, late October of 2018? Did he appear sick to you, or did he appear any maybe lethargic, or in any condition that would display some type of illness?
I'm not sure, sir.
Okay.
I'm not going to give you a yes or no on that there because I really don't remember, sir.
Okay, all right. Do you know whether Natalie Cochran had any insulin in her house?
I'm not sure if Natalie, are you talking about on that day, sir?
Yes.
I am not sure if she did or not, sir.
Okay. And you knew the Davises, right?
Yes.
Obviously. You knew about the unfortunate fate of their son, who had pretty serious diabetes.
Yes, sir. He's also has a pump, sir.
Yeah, he had a pump, and he was using insulin, right?
Yes, sir, through his pump.
And the pump and well, insulin itself, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know whether Natalie has ever had any of his insulin?
I do not know, sir.
Okay. Did you also know that Michael had a back problem?
I do not remember if he had a back problem or not,
Okay.
sir.
Were there any sports activities involving the adults that you and Michael participated in?
Not that I participated in, sir.
Okay. Do you know? When your wife decided to invest in Michael and Natalie's business, who did she contact?
Who did she contact?
Yeah, about the investment.
Actually, I believe Natalie contacted her, sir.
Okay. Did she have any dealings with Michael?
No, sir.
No. Okay. Did you ever know about Michael's business, the investment business?
No, sir. I don't know which business you're talking about.
Did you know anything about his medicine intake?
No, sir.
Okay. Nothing about any steroids or anything, any other medication, legal or semi-legal?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, if I may have a moment.
Certainly.
Did you ever, well, did you visit Michael in a hospital after his back surgery? Do you recall that?
I don't remember him having back surgery, sir.
Okay. All right. That's all I have. Thank you.
Very well. Redirect Ms. Aker.
Just very briefly, Your Honor. When you saw Michael in the hospital in late 2018, how did that compare with the condition you saw him in on February 6th of 2019?
As far as just his condition, ma'am?
Yes, the condition that you were able to observe yourself.
Well, on that right there, he actually woke up when we saw him back then.
And that leads me to my next question. Did Michael wake up at all while you were there on February 6th?
I think he woke up one time where my wife was talking to him because I think she said that she was going to take his temperature or something like that, and he opened his eyes and looked at her, and I think she said something like, "Don't hit me, Mike, so I'm going to take your temperature."
Okay. And that's the only time you're aware of that he woke up that day?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Anything further, Mr. Victor?
If I understood your testimony correctly, though, when you visited Michael in a hospital in November 2018, you didn't stay overnight with him until he woke up the next day, right?
Yes, sir. We stayed the night
Oh, you
with
stayed.
him. Yes, sir.
So it took him a whole day, and took him until the next day to wake up.
I think we got there late the evening, sir,
All right.
maybe 10 o'clock or so, and he maybe woke up the next day, maybe 8, 9, something like that, sir. I couldn't give an exact estimate.
And you left the Cochran's home in February of 2019 at what time?
I don't remember exactly what time it was, sir.
So how many hours did you stay there?
Probably 2, 3, maybe, something like
So
that.
of course you stayed longer with Michael in November of 2018 than in February of 2019.
Yes, sir.
So you have no idea whether he would have woken up after 6 or 7 hours or overnight, or how long it would have taken for him to wake up. It was actually in November that he took 6 or 7 hours to wake up, right?
Yes, sir.
So there's really no difference between his condition in November and February of next year based on how long he slept, is there?
No, sir.
All right, that's all.
Anything further, Ms. Aker?
I just have one more question, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Mr. Hamilton, was it your testimony that when you visited Michael in the hospital in late 2018 that he was under sedation?
That's what was my understanding. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Anything, Mr. Victor?
No, Your Honor, thank
May this witness be excused.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
You
Thank
are
you, Your Honor.
excused. Call your next witness, Ms. Aker.
Can we approach?
Sure.
Oh, approach.
Sidebar.
Members of the jury, I'm going to make up for yesterday. We are going to quit for the day, and that gives you a significant break and makes up at least a little bit for the fact that we had to stay so late last night. At least you can get home in time to watch Dr. Phil or whatever show you enjoy. Please be careful. Please come back tomorrow. We need all of you. We've invested so much time and energy in this case, and we need everybody to continue on and maintain in your roles as jurors. Don't talk to anybody. Don't talk among yourselves. You can imagine you've seen dozens of cameras in the courtroom. It's going to be on TV. It's going to be on the internet. It's going to be in the newspaper. It's going to be on the radio. And please refrain from falling into a trap and watching something or hearing something about this case. If someone should try to tell you things about it, please explain to them the circumstance and walk away or get away from them so that you don't hear anything that may taint your view of the matter. As I told you, you need to keep an open mind and wait till you hear everything. We have just started the case, and we have much more to go, and I want you to hear everything before you make up your mind. So have a good evening, and I'll have 2 boxes of donuts for you in the morning so that everybody can enjoy a donut, and we'll have some fresh coffee for you as well. With that, you can go with the bailiff to your jury room and depart for the evening. We'll start at 9 a.m. All right, are there any matters that we need to take up now out of the presence of the jury?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor. Thank you.
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Very well, we will adjourn for the day.